Welcome back to Omen Exitio Plague. I'm your host, City. And if you like this kind of content, make sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell button so I know you want to see more. Last time, we had a visit by the German mayor who offered us a bunch of money to order research for him, and we said no. So, with that said, let's continue. Traversing Mile End, you reach the gleaming white facade of the Queen Mary University of London. The time you spent here is intense, and you were caught up in mixed emotions seeing it again now. It was home to many pleasurable moments, but also to the anguished final months you spent obsessively researching before your departure to Zanzibar. You skip up the few steps and go inside. The experience seems both old and new at the same time. You walk along the corridors full of voices and students. One of them appears to be in a great hurry and knocks into you painfully as he hurtles down the hall. Also, we got some experience. 38. We're gonna do medicine one more time and then get observation. But medicine seems very important. Also, I believe it's the only of our three that has combat. Because obviously that's combat. Observation is not combat. Our medicine is combat. Agility allows us to escape. That could actually be useful. We haven't actually seen true combat yet. If there is a true combat system. And speechcraft might stop us from fighting. Period. So that's interesting. Anyway. Sheets of paper and notebooks fly in all directions to the amusement of the very student onlookers who have stopped to observe the scene. Hey Fleming, don't your books teach you how to look where you're going? Be more careful. No, we're gonna help him out. Fleming hastens to pick up his things. Please, there's no need. Thank you, please. As you return his papers, certain diagrams and formulae catch your eye. They represent rather complex notes of microbiological nature. You're curious, yes. Curiosity, especially observation, can help us out. It's outside you should be running, boy. Enjoying yourself instead of dashing around here with those notes which appear to be rather complicated. What is your name? Alexander, sir. Alexander takes his notes, starts putting them in order. There is an awkward moment as it becomes clear to you that he must go, but is trying to figure out how to do it without being rude. There's no time to enjoy myself, sir. I have a whole course to catch up. I must go. Please excuse me, thank you, with your permission. He lowers his head and sets off again. In his hurry, he almost looks to another student, growls at him menacingly. You watch him moving off, careening distractedly along the corridor like a clumsy blue bottle. Hey, we got some experience. So that's probably a good thing. Alright, it's creatures of medicine. We will not let another companion die. Well, I'll be Jake, you old rascal. You suddenly hear your name, then immediately recognize the deep and cheerful tone of the voice. You turn to see Reginald Chambers' sprightly face, welcoming you with a wide, playful grin. Reginald is a professor of pharmacology, and the closest thing you ever made to a friend in your years at the institution. Chat or cut to the chase? Oh, we'll chat. We're a nice guy. We got speechcraft. And besides, it might get us more experience. Reginald, old boy, what's happened to you? Is the university wearing you out? You're looking thin. Reginald claps his belly and grins. At nearly 20 stone, his ample bulk rarely goes unnoticed. I don't know what 20 stone is, and I wonder if that's a mistranslation. I don't know. You know how it is, Jake. These students suck you dry, and since the retirement of Betty from the university canteen, I'd say your old friend Reginald just lost a couple of pounds. Reginald released a deep, loud cachinnation which fills the air all around. Tell me about you, though. What news of distant Zanzibar? Reginald, I'm not here on a social call, and I could really use your help. In Zanzibar, I came across a very nasty disease. Something new and completely unknown. I'm heading to the library to find out more. Reginald looks at you seriously for once. He remembers well the time he spent in the library, obsessed with Helen's illness. The Queen Mary Library overwhelms you with its particular odor, a mix of old paper, paraffin from the lamps, and a slight must of mold. You start refamiliarizing yourself and walk around until you come to the microbiology section. A dark-skinned servant is busy arranging books. You find some potentially relevant volumes, but you are unsatisfied. Then your gaze falls on a stack of books that man is putting down. They seem ideal for your research. The man notices you looking at the pile and gives you a nod of permission to help yourself. You add them to the books you're already carrying and hasten to the central table where Reginald is waiting. Jake, old boy, what do you intend to do with all these tomes? No, wait. I don't want to know. Whatever your intentions are, I have no wish to deal with them on an empty stomach. Let's go to the pub and get something in our bellies. Okay. Unlike the library, the entrance to your old pub has a salubrious effect on you. It hasn't changed in the slightest since your last visit, and the tartan furniture is comfortingly worn in all the same places. You follow Reginald to your usual table, where you spent long hours discussing and hypothesizing on various scientific theories. A barmaid comes over to take your order. Oh, Shirley. Look who I brought along. Shirley puts a hand on her hips and throws you a warm smile. The old partners are back together then. I need not to ask what old Reggie wants, but what shall I bring you, Jake? Nothing. Same as Reginald. We gotta eat. Well, the same as Reginald. As soon as Shirley goes off, you are piling onto the table some of the volumes that you took from the library. As you are doing so, you realize that one of them is not even a medical book at all. It seems very curious to you because you were quite sure that you had read all the titles before taking them. It seems to be a text on ancient Egyptian myths. Flicking through it with some curiosity, you come to a page which has been bookmarked with a thin red ribbon, and there, staring out at you, is a symbol. An eye. Okay. You notice we're getting a lot of experience lately. I wonder if this is like a section. It's like an exposition section that's given us a lot of experience so that we go into the action again. It's like in the beginning. Wow. That's very fascinating. What a strange symbol. It has a certain fascination. Clearly, however, it could have no connection to your research. Hey, this is our saving icon. Clearly, it does have an impact. Realizing that Reginald is observing you with a puzzled expression, You put the book back with the others, start telling about things you saw in Zanzibar. You begin to get caught up in the fervor of your tale, but while your jovial friend keeps smiling all the while, his eyes begin to show a growing concern. A polite cough makes you raise your head from your study. Shirley has returned carrying 2 big plates and looks at you with some consternation. Eventually, you realize what she wants, and he clears the space on the table for your meal. Reginald launches himself into his food, but you only glance at the enormous steak and chips on your plate before returning to the paragraph you were reading. There's a description of a certain skin rash that you're particularly interested in. Okay, I have to admit, that picture, that actually looks tasty. Let me see if I've got this right. The disease causes fever, weeping sores, and ocular hemorrhage. The poor victims bleed from all those sores, and they weep blood. I can only imagine the smell of their bodies' malefaction. Nodding, you notice a couple just behind Reginald. The one pushes away her plate. The man stops midair with a forkful of food. Reginald's loud description is clearly and understandably ruined their appetite. Oh no. Oh, that's not good. The same cannot be said for Reginald himself, who is polishing off the last few mouthfuls of his meal and washing it down with an enormous gulp from his mug of ale. I read about something similar just the other day. Some research by a microbiologist called Martinez Bejernik. I can't pronounce that. Describing the disease he's looking at. Would you read it? Say more about it? I never heard of him. Is he reliable? As much as a Dutchman could be, I suppose. If you ask me if I think he's just after fame, I'd have to say no. He's a botanist and microbiologist of some renown, and his studies have been garnering a great deal of interest in the scientific community of late. Tell me more. Although he doesn't work on humans, Martinez has done a series of studies that are apparently close to understanding the true nature of certain diseases. They are said to be discoveries that will change medicine completely. And where'd you read it? It was in the scientific appendix of the Standard, one of last week's editions. How much experience do we got? We need what? 40. Alright. And cut short. We still have a copy of that paper. Well, I may still have a copy in my office. Otherwise, we could easily find another in the university library. You hurriedly collect up all the books on the table, paying the bill, leaving a generous tip for Shirley, and set off along the road, all the while admonishing Reginald to quicken his pace. After reading the article several times, you conclude that Bejernik's theories may very well explain various aspects of disease in general, and this one specifically. The article, however, seems to deliberately omit important information. You inform Reginald of this, who is observing you attentively. At this point, I think we should try and speak to Bejernik himself. Alone? Go with him. Let's go to... I don't want to kill this guy off. Put him in danger. But you also have to be able to trust the people. I can't just do this alone. If I try and do that exclusively, we'll run into issues. Because one man can only do so much. So let's go together. Oh. I don't want to disappoint you, but it's not as easy as you might think. Martinez Bejernik lives in Delft, in Holland. Advice, or I think we're going to Holland. Let's ask advice. It's like I just said. Gotta be able to rely on others a little bit. So let's ask him what he thinks we should do. Reginald looks at you and reflects. He's somewhat surprised by your sense of urgency. After a moment, he shrugs. Then we're going to Holland, of course. Well, I guess it's the same no matter what. You're already heading towards the door, mentally going through what you need to do to set off immediately. But then you realize your friend is stopped behind you. You turn around to see Reginald stroking his chin and looking at you thoughtfully. The journey will be long and expensive. Are you sure about this? Maybe we should go to the bank before leaving. Alright. Together you walk the few streets from the university to the bank. You're feeling a little uneasy, but Reginald is updating you on changes that have taken place at the institution since you were last there. Basically, there haven't been that many changes, seeing as Director Shelley is about as flexible as a marble column. As he says this, you follow his gaze to one of the two columns flanking the entrance to Barclays Bank. You both enter and go straight to a free counter. As Reginald begins to make a sizable withdrawal, he sees another counter and sends you off in that direction. The bank teller gives you a fake smile and asks your name. Then you wait impatiently for him to give you information regarding your balance. The teller's smiles almost become a grimace as he passes you an advice slip. The amount you find at the bottom is rather small, certainly less than what you expected. Do you wish to make a withdrawal, Mr. Huntington? Let's do half. Play it safe. Bank teller comes back with a stack of banknotes. He counts it quickly and hands them over to you with a smirk. If that's everything then. Without even answering, you take the money and leave. At the entrance, you find Reginald, who is noisily greeting and clapping the back of an acquaintance. Somewhat shaken, the man hurries out to the free counter. Everything alright, old boy? Are we all set? I don't know, I'm not sure I have enough money. Reginald looks at you and strokes his double chin. Did you withdraw all your money? If this is really important, you could always take out the remainder. I don't want to be taking out a loan, but I feel like I could get beat the shit out of. We do have speechcraft though. This is the point of speechcraft. I might as well use it. Oh yeah, and I get experience points. We still need 40 to get observation. We might just get another medicine. Of course, old boy. I can never say no to you. At home I have some money set aside for emergencies. I'll go and get it. Pack a bag, and I'll see you at the docks in 2 hours from now. See, speechcraft. Alright, continue. You were walking with Reginald near the Thames, watching his face wincing comically at his terrible smell. There around the docks is utter chaos, and it's not easy to avoid collisions in the jostling mayhem. Reginald is holding his bag to his chest, and is constantly on the lookout for gangs of dirty, ragged street urchins. You cannot help but compare it to the port of Zanzibar, but you decide that it's far more chaotic and uncivilized here in London. Finally, you have freed yourselves of the crowd and made it to the shipping office. You tell Reginald to wait for you with the luggage while you go and buy the tickets. Good morning, how can I help you? Good morning, I'd like 2 tickets for a passenger ship to the Netherlands, please. I'm very sorry, but the money you've given me is insufficient. All I can give you for this price is 2 tickets on a cargo ship.